inform, promote, unite. This is JCity Arrow News, your source for local news and information straight to the point. This is a production of JCity Center for Hope and Renewal, rebuilding bridges to better lives, better families, and a better community. Johnston City is our heritage and our home, and a renewed community is our hope for the future.
I don't think there's anything more satisfying or relaxing than sitting with a good cup of coffee, reading the newspaper, especially if that newspaper is from your hometown. I'm holding the latest printed edition of JCity Arrow News, hot off the press. Yes, it's bigger and has more pages than our first 3 issues. Previous editions were produced in-house on the center's color copier, but the September issue was printed on a real newspaper press. This format in newspaper lingo is called a broadsheet. Now, the Arrow may be still just a small newspaper in most people's eyes, but it is a newspaper, and it's the first local newspaper to be published in Johnston City since 1989. The venerable Johnston City Progress ceased local publication in 1971. Of course, our hometown paper then was a weekly. And yes, the Arrow still comes out just monthly. That's because we don't have a paid staff. This labor of love was produced completely by volunteers here at the center. We are a nonprofit organization, and our goal is not to make money, but to build our community. We will do this through the Arrow in 3 ways: to inform, unite, and promote. Here's what we mean by that. The Arrow is hyper-local. We're all about Johnston City and nothing else. We simply want to inform local readers about what's going on in town. We intend to be, with your cooperation and the information you provide, the one place to go to find news about local events and people. With the broadsheet size, the extra space allows us to run more stories and photos of all that's happening right here in our hometown. We believe that having a central source or clearinghouse for information will help unite our community. And finally, we will promote our community, the good things about living in a close-knit small town. We will emphasize our strengths and point out the opportunities for entrepreneurs. We will support new businesses, and we will encourage families of all shapes and sizes to make Johnston City their home. As a monthly volunteer-staffed free publication, we will not compete with other area newspapers. Arrow News is a service, not a fundraising effort of Johnston City Center for Hope and Renewal. The bottom line is not profit, but community development. But if we all work for free, on the Arrow, where do the funds come from to pay the printer? Well, the center is supported by local churches, individuals, and our partnerships with other nonprofits. With that money, we provide recovery resources, community counseling, and support groups for individuals and families, and the first 3 or 4 issues of the Arrow. However, with the increased size of the newspaper, we would like to find sponsors who will contribute to the cost of production. These sponsors can be local businesses, churches, organizations, or individuals. Those who contribute will get their name in the paper, if they wish. The process is very similar to buying an ad in the school's yearbook or paying to be listed in the programs handed out at sports events. We welcome donations of all sizes. We are reserving space in the newspaper to show off our sponsors, from one-line listings to half-page ads depending on the size of your donation. By the way, these are not considered ads with a commercial purpose. That means the money you give is tax deductible, since we're a recognized 501c3 by the IRS. Call or email if you're interested. Also, you may stop by the center to get more information or additional copies anytime during our regular hours. usually Tuesday through Thursday, maybe other times by appointment. And don't forget our website, jcity.center. It's open 24/7. Now for local news. Contractors hired by the city recently paved the parking lot at Broadway and Adams in preparation for the 7th annual City of Johnston City Car Show, September 30th. The show begins at noon and continues until 4 o'clock. The awards will be handed out at 3:30. The first 100 entries at the show will receive a dash plaque. As in previous years, this show is open to cars, trucks, and motorcycles. The entry fee is $10. Officials or organizers will give awards for vehicles that are unique, antique, the restored old, as well as the impressive and shiny newer cars that enthusiasts love so well. The car show will also feature a 50-50 drawing and lots of giveaways. Proceeds go toward the city's annual fireworks display. As we mentioned in the Arrow last month, there is a new law office in town. Attorney Megan Rich has beautifully renovated the building at 313 East Broadway, formerly Michael's Restaurant. We hope to have more details about this new business in the next issue. Remember, if you have a new business in town or are planning to move your business to Johnston City, please let us know. We will include that information in Arrow News, both in print and video editions. State Representative Patrick Windhorse recently held an open meeting as part of his mobile office program. He hung out at Andreessen's Cafe where he greeted local guests and listened to local concerns. According to Windhorst, even though media reports highlight political squabbling in Springfield, he claims both parties have sometimes cooperated when talking or tackling downstate problems. Windhorst explained some of the changes happening in the Secretary of State's office, including the new operating hours and an appointment system at the driver services facilities. These modernizations are intended to speed up the process of acquiring titles and licenses. Mayor Doug Dobbins also attended the event and shared the city's planning commission's efforts to secure grants for water treatment plant upgrades and replacing older water lines. Representative Windhorst plans to open an office in West Frankfort in the near future. In addition to his Springfield office, the representative maintains an office in Harrisburg. Now for our community calendar. Thursday, September 7th, Karen Brace Wargle will be signing her new book, Don't Touch That Box. The book signing will be at Andreessen's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Our new volunteer reporter, Tim Hastings, recently interviewed this local author. We'll hear that conversation later in the podcast. Bandy's Pumpkin Patch opens September 16th and will remain open until October 30th. This year's corn maze has a space theme, or alien theme. Admission and parking are free. Various activities and events will be charged individually. The patch is located at 15020 15020 Pumpkin Patch Road, Johnston City. There will be a 4K walk run at Arrowhead Lake September 16th at 11 a.m. This is a fundraising event for the Johnson family as 6-week-old Cohen fights polycystic kidney disease. For more information, contact Julia Bell at 618-922-8089 or visit www.cohen.org. Sunday, September 17th is National Back to Church Sunday. Many churches across the country, including JCity Church here in our community, participate in this event to encourage their regular attendees to invite someone else to church. Here's how that works. If you would like your church events to be included in JCity Arrow News, please call us at 618-952-1272 or email jcitycenter@gmail.com. I spoke with Pastor Randy Carney about other events at JCity Church in September. We're here today with Pastor Randy Carney from JCity Church, and Brother Randy's going to share some information about what's going on at JCity Church during the month of September, and I understand there's some really neat things going on, isn't there?
Yeah, we have a new ladies Sunday school class beginning on September 3rd.
Yeah.
And then September 10th coming up, we have a church picnic and a baptism at the Carneys,
Okay.
which is my house.
Okay. And that's kind of out in the country, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Out on the way to Thompsonville, more or less.
It is. It's
Okay.
about a 20-minute drive from here. And Randy McIntosh is going to drive the bus for us.
Okay. So they don't have to find their way out there. The bus
No.
will be taking them out there. And you've got a pond. They're
Yes.
going to be the people are going to be baptized. Going to be baptized the old-fashioned way, right?
We're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
There you go. Well, if you've never experienced that, it'd be a great opportunity to go out and see what baptisms have been in the past. So we'll step back in time.
Sure, we were going to do one here at church for those who maybe don't like the pond experience. The lake experience. My
There you
mom
go.
used to always call it the lake. She said it's just big enough to be a lake.
Oh, good.
But anyway, we're doing that September 10th. We'll be leaving right after church.
And there's going to be some, not just the baptism, kind of like a picnic type thing.
Yes, we're having a picnic. As soon as we get there, we'll have the picnic. And the baptism will be about 2 o'clock. One other thing I'm really glad about, on September 17th, Keith and Sarah Fletcher are going to do an Israel
That
presentation.
name rings a bell.
Yes. So I'm excited about you and Sarah.
Yeah, we're finally going to sort through our hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures and show the best ones to the church. And I understand that's on a Sunday evening. And
Yes.
we're going to invite other churches in the community or just people in the community that don't have something to do on Sunday night to come and see a little taste of Israel. I realize a lot of people have already been to Israel, but some people haven't. Some people may be afraid to go. But we did go back in June, so it's a relatively recent trip. If you go to another church and your church is doing something, please let Arrow News know what you're doing, and we'll be glad to bring other pastors in to tell about what's going on in their churches, as well as just make the announcements, put them on our calendar in the newspaper and on our website or on the Arrow News podcast. So be sure and let us know what's going on. Thank you, Pastor Randy.
You are welcome. Thank you.
In more community events, Down Home Comfort, 913 West Broadway, will host a sweet Southern Fall Market, September 22nd and 23rd. The free market features local vendors and food trucks. It will be open Friday from 10 to 6 and Saturday from 9 to 3. And a national observance for students, See You at the Pole, will be held Wednesday, September 27th, before school begins. Please check with your school to find out what time prior to the school day the students plan to gather around the flagpole for prayer.
One nation, under God.
I pray for our country.
We just pray, Lord, for boldness.
It's just a public declaration of my faith.
Help us to be a light in our school.
Just show your love to everybody we come into contact with.
And I pray that we would all have boldness and faith.
Amen.
Here at JCity Center for Hope and Renewal, we are proud of our partner organizations who help us deliver services for personal, relational, and community development in Johnston City. One of those partners is Take Action Today. They are likely the fastest growing peer recovery organization in Illinois. Take Action Today began offering services 2 years ago with only 2 employees. In October 2021, Take Action Today cut the ribbon with us on its first Recovery Resource Center right here at 504 East Broadway. JCity Center for Hope and Renewal was their first Recovery Resource Center. That means that we offer peer recovery support, laundry facilities, a shower, food, and Narcan, which is an over-the-counter opioid overdose treatment. Through our other partnerships, the center also provides clinical-level mental health therapy and trauma treatment. These services support both Take Action Today's participants and others who are willing to invest in our community in exchange for counseling. Mike Tyson from West Frankfort is the executive director of Take Action Today. In 2019, he was moved by the death of a homeless man in West Frankfort, so he organized a Thanksgiving dinner for people experiencing homelessness. As he and other volunteers gained awareness of the needs in our area, they organized a nonprofit organization. This organization now serves 5 counties with a workforce of 20 full-time employees. September has been designated as National Recovery Month. In honor of those who are in recovery from substance abuse disorder and mental illness, I interviewed Mike Tyson for a special edition of Arrow News. We will stream that podcast next week. Arrow News has a new reporter. Tim Hastings of West Frankfort volunteered to serve on our staff, working on both the print and podcast versions of Arrow News. One of his first assignments was to interview Johnston City native Karen Brace Wargle. Ms. Wargle recently authored a book about her family. The book's title is Don't Touch That Box, and it comes from the story of one of her uncles who hid personal treasures. Here is a portion of Tim's interview with Karen.
Who owned this box?
So this was Mr. Faulkner, Floyd.
Okay.
Laura was my aunt.
Okay.
Died in childbirth.
Okay.
And horribly, my mother was 14 at the time, and they thought it was going to be a normal childbirth, so my grandma and grandpa said, you go down there and sit with Laura. Of course, it turned out my mother was traumatized. The doctor was sitting in the floor drunk, didn't do anything. That's all I'm telling my book. And blood was everywhere. It was horrible. And my mother, when my grandma and grandpa came down to see the new baby, she ran out to meet them. Laura died. My grandma fainted in the field. And so anyway, her husband was Floyd, and he's the one that had the box. His parents lived in that house that we owned on the river. And he told his family, don't anybody ever touch that box. Of course, after he died, they couldn't wait to see what was in the box.
And Floyd was your uncle by marriage.
Yes.
He married your aunt.
Married Laura, yes.
Okay, but then she died early.
Yes.
And your uncle started collecting this box, or
he already had it. I guess had it
going.
from when they dated and when they were married and everything.
Well, when did you first find out about the box?
It would have been 15 years ago when those people stopped. The ladies stopped by our house.
So very recent.
Yes,
Very recently.
And then when he died, they opened the box. It was all Laura stuff in there. And wouldn't it be wonderful to have all that stuff?
Well, but do you?
No.
No.
To me.
I'm guessing the box represents maybe family secrets, or because this man, your Uncle Floyd, had letters from Laura, memorabilia.
Yes, I'm sure. I don't know.
Okay. But somehow no one was to touch it. It was a part of his life.
Yes.
And I'm guessing now that symbolizes your desire to find out about your family.
Yes.
That's
good. Yes.
Okay.
And now, here's our sports news with our sports reporter, Doug Hancock.
Hello, sports fans. Let's talk football. The season opener for JCHS football came with sweltering weather as the Indians faced temperatures in the high 80s and even higher humidity. Coach Todd Thomas displayed a stingy defense and a punishing running game en route to a 32-12 victory over Christopher Ziegler-Royalton. With the game secure, Coach Thomas gave valuable playing time to underclassmen to season them since the JV schedule began August 28th. Now, fans hoping to see the Indians' passing attack will have to wait for upcoming games as Thomas is keeping his cards close to his vest for future foes. Fridays in September feature a pair of home games against heavyweights El Dorado and Fairfield, and this duel will determine the conference champion. Come out and support your hometown heroes, unless delayed due to heat, as was the opener. All games will kick off at 7 p.m. Other fall programs are in full swing at the middle school and the high school. Washington Middle School baseball and softball teams are halfway through their season, while cross country for both is just beginning. Varsity volleyball has a half a dozen games completed, and all squads are improving as the school year progresses. Look for more coverage of these teams in next month's issue of the Arrow.